Hello, UFOs. It's your boy King Wakata, and we out here in these Twitter streets today. I hope everybody is feeling awesome. We have a very special show for you guys. Today, we have Dr. Jose de Jesus Zalce de Benitez. And we are going to have ourselves a great conversation on everything Nazca mummies and Nazca related. We have the doctor in here. We're inviting him up. Doctor, te mandé una invitación. Ahora mismo estamos esperando que llegue Gonzalo y Stephanie para preparar. We got Gonzalo in the house. Just sent you a co-host invite, Gonzalo. Megan, how are you?
Hey, King, doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Just getting in. I'm very excited to have the doctor here with us. I sent the doctor an invite. Doctor, can you walk him through it, Gonzalo, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, brother. ¿Te llegó una invitación?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome,
Sí, te puedo
doctor.
escuchar.
Perfect. There is only audio. There is not gonna be video.
No, Twitter Spaces is only audio, doctor.
Okay, it's only audio. Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. We are waiting for. Oh, Stephanie's here. Okay, let me make Stephanie co-host.
Hi guys, welcome. And thanks, King.
Yes, anytime. Pavel will not be joining us. He has a few other things he has to do. He might show up a little bit later. But okay, so first I would like to say welcome to everyone that made it. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you very much to Dr. Jose Benitez, Zalce Benitez, for joining us. He was Lieutenant Colonel of the Mexican Navy, naval surgeon, former head of health research and development for the Mexican Navy. So this is somebody that's not a regular Joe. He is legitimate. Gracias por estar con nosotros, Doctor Zalce.
Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
Yeah, so vamos a empezar. Let's dive right in. ¿Hay algo que quieres empezar o algo que quieres decir antes que empecemos? Anything that you want to talk about up front?
Bueno, la verdad es que quiero agradecer la invitación. Tú dime si lo hago en inglés o en español y comienzo a hablar.
Vamos a hacerlo en inglés, pero cualquier cosa que no puedas decir, estamos aquí para ayudarte. He's just saying he's very happy to be here, and we're gonna do it in English. His English is very good. Anything that he can't say, we're gonna help him get through it, and hopefully we have ourselves a great day here.
Perfect. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to me to be here with you today, and I'm open to answer any question you have. And also, if you wanna talk in particularly in something, I will be glad to do it.
Awesome sauce. So let's start with the latest news. Have you seen the paper of the DNA from the Canada team yet? Have you had a chance to look at it?
I have the chance to look at a part of that paper. Dr. Ricardo Rangel shared to me this part of the paper, and it's very high quality and very good explication about the DNA from this species.
Okay, so how long have you been working on the mummies from the beginning, or how long have you been involved, and how did you first get involved? What brought your attention?
I'm studied mummies from the beginning in 2017. Since the first look with the team with Jaime Maussan and Gaia, the team of Gaia, and also the team of the Dr. Konstantin Korotkov from Russia. I went with them to Peru, and I have the honor to work with mummies since the beginning. I think April 2017 was the date.
Wow. So
Doctor, and then if I may ask a question, um, when you went to Peru to go see the mummies, did you think they were real, or did you go there with the intention to debunk them? What were your thought process when you first saw them?
Well, when Jaime Maussan invited me to come to Peru, my first thinking was to deny everything. I was thinking that it could be a fake. So I went to Peru thinking to deny everything. But at the beginning, when uh, when we arrived at the Incari Institute, they show us uh, a pretty small figures, pretty small dolls that they were completely broken, completely not harmonic, and I say this is a fake. But then the people from Incari Institute, specifically Thierry Jamin, show us the small bodies of 60 centimeters. In that time was Josefina and Albert, and when I saw that, I think, okay, this is different, and it could be real. And they also show us a big hand. This hand is about 45 centimeters long. So I start thinking, okay, this is something harmonic. This is something different from the human, and this is something that doesn't match with with taxonomy and other species. So I request to Institute Incari Institute. I request them the possibility of take X-rays and TC scans. They agree to make that, and the next day we made these X-rays and we made these TC scans, and everything I saw in that images was completely blowing my mind, because they are completely real. There are no evidence for that pieces that be ensembled or be handmade. They were completely natural. They were completely functional and harmonic in his anatomy, and also I could be able to see the degradation of the joints, and that degradation of the joints was for the natural movement of this specimen. So at that moment I saw that, I realized that we were in front of something completely real. That was my first contact with this species. 2 days 2 days later, we went in to another place, the name Palpa, also in Peru, and in that place they show us the big body of Maria, and at the first look, it was pretty same like a human, but when you have the knowledge and you have the training to saw not only the natural things, but you had the training and the knowledge to see the anomalies and the difference. I saw in the body of Maria plenty of these difference, like a big skull, no ears, no, I don't know the name of ombligo, cordón umbilical, ombligo. I don't know the name in
Belly
English.
button. Belly
I
button.
okay. I don't see that. You don't see mammals, and also you can see the whole structure of the skeleton. It's bigger in size than the human could be have. So all these things that we have in front make me think and change my mind that we could be in front of something completely real. Also, I request as the same. I request to make X-rays and TC scans from Maria, and the surprise was big because Maria has plenty of organs or muscles or tendons and joints that are completely real, harmonic and functional without any sign of manipulation or handmade. So at that moment we talk with the whole team, and I say this is real. We need to study more of this and take samples of this because this is real. We need to make DNA, carbon 14, and everything we can to prove that this is real. And that's why Dr. Konstantin Korotkov and I took very samples from Maria, took very samples from Josefina, this small body of 60 centimeters long, and also from Albert. By running the week that we spent in Peru in that time in April 2017, we saw another corpuses, another bodies, another pieces, and we take sample of that. We also meet Wawita. We also meet the corpus or the body of Victoria, and we saw many like 10, 7 or 10 schools, separate schools that from these pretty similar from these bodies of 60 centimeters. And also we saw three different kind of hands that has 45 centimeters long. So it was a very spectacular week for me in April 2017.
So all of that happened in a week. That's very exciting. um,
Yes.
So,
I
Doctor,
just wanted to say you
I had a
mentioned your training. My fault, Gonzalo. I just want to say you mentioned your training and ability to tell natural from not, and all of these things helped you. And I just want to run real quick through your credentials for everybody that's listening, so they understand that you're not just some random guy. You were Lieutenant Colonel of the Mexican Navy, Naval Surgeon, graduate of the Naval Medical School of the Ministry of the Navy, Mexican Navy, master's degree in forensic medicine, graduate of the Military School of Health, graduates of the Mexican Army, diploma in aerospace medicine, Mexican Air Force of the Mexican Army, diploma in forensic anthropology, National School of Anthropology and History, Medical Strategic Leadership Program, Center of Medical Excellence in United States Army, Fort San Antonio, former director of the Institute of Health Science Research of the Ministry of the Navy, former director of medical procurement and supplies of the General Directorate of Naval Health of the Ministry of the Navy, former deputy director of inspection of naval health establishments of the Inspection and General Comptroller of the Navy, former head of legal and forensic medicine of the Mexican Navy, forensic medical expert of the General Military Justice Prosecutor's Office, forensic medical expert and medical expert for Naval Command Consultancy, and former advisor to the Naval Intelligence Unit and the Special Operations Unit of the Navy. Now, for everyone listen, that is a very stacked resume. And I want to put this out there because there is a lot of people that think Malsan is somehow paying all these doctors and scientists off, and I think that's ridiculous. So I just want to make sure, because you said your ability and your training, and that's very important training that a lot of people don't have. So Gonzalo, please jump in.
Yeah, Doctor, I had a question. What type of skin color do they have, and what type of aspects did you see looking at that body specifically that you could tell it was not human?
Okay. Well, at the first look, the whole body was covered with this white sand, like diatomea, you know. So
Yes, diatomaceous
Diatomaceous
earth.
earth.
that's it. So at the first look, also Maria and also the small body, 60 centimeters body, they're all covered with this sand of diatomea. But we had the chance to take with small pieces, small hands and small schools that were alone, separated. We had the chance to um, clean the surface of the skin, and the color was a pretty gray color. But if you take some liquid to clean the skin, this gray color change in a pretty mixture into green and gray. Okay, but the flesh was completely dry. The flesh was completely dry. So for comparison, if you took any kind of flesh and you put into the sun, you will see the color turn into brown. Okay, so the color, it's not the same that a normal flesh that could be from animals or from humans. The color of this species, the small species, the 60 centimeter species, the color was a mixture between green and gray when you clean perfectly, or you can saw only the gray if you only take out the diatomea sand. Okay, I hope I can explain this.
Yeah. When with covered in the diatomaceous earth, it turns kind of gray. But when you rehydrate or wash the skin off, there seems to be a greenish gray color that comes through.
That's it. Correct. Thank you.
If Dr. Zalce, if they were alive, what type of color do you think they would have? Because a lot in the U.S. disclosure, we hear about gray, bluish beings. Do you think that could be something if they were alive? That's how their color could be?
I I think that the color they could have in life were between gray, and a little of green and a little of pink. Where the pinks becomes okay when you talk when you look in the borderline of the eyes, the borderline of the ear, the borderline of mouth, there is a small texture of pink, but in the whole body, the color is a green like a pearl, green, gray. Sorry, it's not green. Sorry, it's not green. It's gray like a pearl. Okay.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I remember I spoke with Mr. Jose Rios,
Yeah,
and he was telling me about the study he did on the skin, and he spoke about like these small bumps that were found on the skin. And I'm curious, since we the study shows that they have soft scale skin. Do you think these tones and colors that we find in the skin could be used almost how a chameleon changes his skin or something in that manner, that type of reptile skin?
that's a great observation. Jose de la Cruz Rio has a study in the skin. We made this study together, and he's right. This changing of colors of part of the skin, it could be like a camouflage from this skin or this specimen. Okay, it's right that Jose de la Cruz Rios is right.
Awesome sauce. Another question that has to do with my conversation with Mr. Rios. Um, I was very interested in the Achilles tendon of Maria, the muscle. You spoke how they got the full muscle and how it's built totally different than a human. I call it bidirectional. My friend Kent calls it omni-directional muscle. That there is not built on tension. It goes into the foot rather than connect to the Achilles ankle. Um, what does that mean as far as their motion? Like I could imagine these things might be able to jump really hard or maybe scale a wall really fast, maybe.
Okay, that is a big difference between Maria and the human bodies, normal human bodies. It's a big difference. Dr. Jose de la Cruz Rios, biologist Jose de la Cruz Rios, is also right in this. The tendon of Achilles doesn't doesn't implant in the calcaneus bone like a human. The tendon Achilles of Maria run flat under the feet completely until made a union with the fingers in the feet. Okay, so that that extension of the Achilles tendon permits or has the ability to move with more potential the feet. So Maria and the whole specimens like her, like Maria, could be able to move faster, jump higher, and also run. But they has this movement like if you use your imagination, this movement is like the bird, this big bird in Australia, the avestruz. In Spanish, we say avestruz. I don't know the name in English.
Ostrich.
Ostrich, yes.
Entonces, so if you see how this bird can move and it's too fast, it's pretty similar like the movement that Maria could have when was alive.
Now, is there any way that you know, with all of your training over the years, that somebody would have the knowledge to make a fake and do this? Because it's not just the Achilles tendon is also like the heel bone is shaped differently. Is like all these things. How would somebody, try to fake this? Because I've even talked to the AI and asked questions, and I can't find a way that somebody could make this up.
Okay, for my knowledge, there is impossible there is impossible that anyone could build that kind of body by artificial way, as a handmade way. It's impossible because there are millimetrical details, and also there are many anatomic functions that we cannot replicate by artificial way. So these bodies are impossible to be fake.
Thank you.
If you know the most highest level in surgeon, microsurgeon, and plastic surgeon and reconstruction surgeon, the highest level in whole the world doesn't has the ability to replicate the natural anatomy of the human bodies. So if we don't have the ability to do this in a human that we know perfectly the anatomy of the human body, we are not able to do in this specimen that the anatomy is completely different to us. It's so high difficult to make these bodies as a fake.
Yeah, also, over the last 7 years, a lot of the diatomaceous earth has fallen off of these bodies and, maybe washed off through studying and stuff. I know Alberto has a lot of it gone now. As this diatomaceous earth falls, it is kind of a good thing because we get to see more of the skin, we get to see more of the body without anything in the way. Has there been any type of seams, sutures, markings that could be like somebody, stitched this together? That I know of, there hasn't been. Have you seen any of this through your studies on any of the mummies that the Ika Institute have? Because I know there are ritualistic dolls, and that's a whole separate situation with that. But with the mummies that are being actually studied at the Ika University, has there anything like this seen on any of them?
Okay, your question is very very important because we have I have two ways to answer this, because in the interest of answer, if we can see the surface of the skin, we didn't saw any type of suture, any kind of union, any kind of material that join the skin with the whole body. There is no connection, artificial connection, or union in the whole skin. I mean, the whole skin is completely without marks, except by those body who has metals. But the second answer I want to make in this is that it's true. The diatomea soil, the sand of diatomea that it's falling from these bodies, it's an emergent thing that we have to think about that, because when these bodies was take out of the soil that were found, they start again the degradation process. So if we take out of the skin this diatomea sand, we provoke the degradation of this body. So the losses of the diatomea permit us to see the whole skin and be sure that doesn't has any manipulation or junction of suture or any kind of union, artificial union in the skin. It's completely safety and completely intact. But we need to put these bodies and this diatomea soil back into the body, because if we don't do that, that body start again the degradation process, and we can see right now how the body of Maria is practically broken in his finger. That occurs because the degradation process is start running, and we need to preserve these bodies, returning to the diatomea soil, or doing something like a preservation of this body, because if we don't do that, we lost the whole evidence.
I would say some pressure controlled cabins or something like that, right?
We need temperature, humidity, and also any kind of product similar, or the same diatomea soil that cover the bodies. If we don't do that, we will lose these bodies.
Well, this is a great segue for something I want to ask about. I don't know if you're have you ever spoken to Mario? I heard Mario was in jail now, but is there some type of is anybody trying to work out a deal with Mario to get all the places? So I'm sure there's more diatomaceous earth there that would be collected to help preserve these mummies. Do you know anything about that? I know you're mainly into the science, but I gotta ask. I'm a big free Mario guy.
Okay. Uh, well, every time I have the chance to see and meet Mario and also talk with Mario, every time I have the chance, I remember him that we need diatomea sand to put in all the bodies he gave us to the ICA University. But Mario, it's a very difficult person because it's not easy to find, and also I don't know at this moment. I don't know if he is free or he's in jail. I don't know, but every time I has the chance, I ask him to bring more diatomea sand to put in all over the bodies that he gave to the ICA University.
Okay. Yeah. From what I heard, Mario has been locked up. And hopefully they can work something out. And he made a big discovery. Maybe he can get a. Don't do that again. um. But Megan has her hand up. Please jump in.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on the diatomaceous earth. I've read some places that it also has cadmium chloride in it, which is pretty toxic to my understanding. Has that been something that you have looked into, if there's cadmium chloride, and are there any kind of like safety precautions you guys can take for that? Is it dangerous to be around?
Okay, that's a good question. Uh, the chloride, cadmium chloride that we found cadmium in two parts. We found cadmium in some metals that some bodies has over the skin. Okay, but also when we clean the skin from this diatomea earth, we take a sample of the skin, and we made an analysis that we say spectrometry analysis. And in the spectrometry analysis, we found chloride of cadmium, or cadmium chloride. We found that, and we analyze what happened with this. What when this species die, someone, I don't know who, but someone put this chloride of cadmium in the whole body to preserve the body. And over this chloride of cadmium, over this, they put the diatomea earth. So we have two artificial preservation ways that someone has to think to preserve these bodies 1,000 years ago. What's the problem here? The chloride of cadmium or cadmium chloride, it's toxic, yes, and also is very difficult to make in a laboratory at this day. So, who has the knowledge and who has the technology to do this 1,000 years ago? Okay.
Yes, that's a big question. um, yeah. Following up right on that. You know, I we look at Maria and Wawita right now, right? And I want to bring attention to the hands and feet. A lot of people think they are made up of cut off body parts from thousand-year-old bodies. But we have an example with Wawita, I believe, that they think she was mutilated, right? And if we have that, if we can find that in Wawita, why will we not find that in the other ones?
Okay. That's a good observation. From the beginning, we said that Guaguita was a human with some kind of alterations. Some alteration was natural and some alteration was artificial, handmade by human. From the beginning, we say that. But in Maria, the whole thing, the whole body is completely real. By the way, let me tell you something. Last week or 2 weeks ago, the Ministry of Culture went to the Ica University and took off the Maria and Guaguita bodies and take them to the hospital in Ica and made new X-rays and made new TC scans. Then the Ministry of Culture returned the body of Guaguita and returned the body of Maria to the Ica University. But the doctor who made this analysis, a radiologist, was a doctor who has a specialization in radiologist, said that he doesn't find any kind of alteration in the hands or in the feet of Maria, and also said that Wawita was pretty much as a human. So the last studies with this radiologist completely apart and foraging of this of this uh, issue is saying exactly the same we said in 2017, that Maria is completely real and her hands and his feet has no alteration or artificial alteration pre-mortem ni post-mortem, also not post-mortem. So before dying and after dying doesn't has any alteration, his hands and his feet of Maria. And with Wawita, it's another type of analysis because Wawita is pretty much a human. We need to have and made DNA from Wawita to be completely sure he's human. But at this time, there is no way, and there is no any person that could say that the hands and the feet of Maria was any kind of alteration. Okay?
Yeah, because I noticed that too, and it's if you guys can find something with Wawita, why would you not find it with Maria or Montserrat or the other ones? So that was just an observation that I made. I believe Gonzalo, you had a question. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, so one of my questions is, in the US disclosure, people testifying under oath is a big thing. Would you ever testify in the US if invited?
Wow. Okay. This is a very difficult question because in my personal answer, yes, I be able to go any part of the world whenever they ask me to testify what I saw, what I study, what I analyze, and also what are my results of all this. Okay? Personally, I will say yes. If they invite me, I will go. But at this time, I have a problem here. I'm still working in the Mexican Navy. So, as a an active duty Navy man in the Mexican Navy, I don't be able to do that without permission. So I will have to ask to my superiors to 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 the license to go there and answer any question they want.
My follow-up question is, if you were invited to testify, what type of evidence would you concentrate on so people could hear why you believe this discovery is real?
Okay, if I testify, if anyone invite me to testify, I bring with me all the image from X-rays, from CT scans, from fluoroscopy, and also bring DNA results, histological and pathological results from tissues that we analyze, and I could bring whatever I have in my possession to testify and give my testimony with this evidence that I made with technology and we made with scientific method. Okay.
Copy.
Ask your question, Megan, if you'd
Yeah.
like.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of a follow up that I thought of just because you mentioned needing to get permission from your superiors if you were to testify in the U.S. And I was wondering if, in your current work with the mummies, if that's something that you needed to get like permission from the Navy to do that, or if you're just acting in your capacity as a private citizen, and maybe just the general sense of like what the feel within like the military or the government in general is towards these bodies, if you have a sense of that.
Okay, it's a good question. I made this everything since 2017. I made this as a private citizen, always as a private citizen. But the whole media, the whole I don't know, um, all these people who talk without knowledge, re- trying to deny these cases, make some sound around my superiors, and I was punished by that. Uh, uh, I don't want get deeper in this because at this moment I'm suffering some punishment from my superiors, but my superiors are acting trying to protect the honor of the Mexican Navy, and I understand them. But I'm doing this, and I did this from the beginning as a private citizen, not as a part of the Mexican Navy. I I I I I, I don't know how to explain this, but it's very difficult to me work in this. It's very difficult. I have been pressure from some people, so I prefer not to talk deeper in this.
Yeah.
I
No.
understand.
Dr.
Thank you for
Zalce?
answering.
Understandable.
Also, thank you so much for like stepping forward and talking to us and talking about this publicly. I feel like it's such an important discovery, and it's very unfortunate that you've faced some consequences for that. And we need more people like you. And I'm so grateful that you have, put your name attached to this with all that long list of credentials that King read out. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Is there any ideas of, because I'm very interested in their motion, how they would move and all of that. And I know one of the things, I believe I was watching a video of Dr. McDowell, and they were speaking about how they noticed the space between the toes of these mummies. It's just the right space in order to spread the weight to keep them balanced. And they found the same thing with the smaller ones. Have you spoken to Dr. McDowell, or have you looked into these things? How's it going with his research? Are you involved in it, or is he doing something totally different on the side?
Okay. M- uh, okay. Dr. McDowell, it's a high quality former forensic person in the whole world. Okay, Dr. McDowell is it's like a my hero, you know. But I have the chance to meet with him in Peru. We went to Peru together, and we saw the body of Santiago, the body of Sebastian, and also the body of Montserrat, and the fetus of Raphael inside of Montserrat. We saw this together. I'm completely agree with Dr. McDowell. Completely. We share we share opinions about the bodies. We share opinions about the X-rays and about the CT scans we made together on these bodies. And also, um this is only for my ego. This is only for my ego. I was the guy who found the tridactyl finger of the hands of Raphael, the fetus inside Maria. So when I found the tridactyl hand and tridactyl feet of Raphael, this fetus inside Montserrat, I I run to Dr. McDowell and I say, well, doctor, I just find this that proves that the fetus inside Montserrat is also tridactyl, and this is another proof that this is completely real, because who made a mother and also made a fetus artificially? It's completely insane to do that. And if you can see this fetus, tridactyl fetus, inside of Montserrat with the same characteristic of Montserrat, this proves that we are in front of a biological organism in in a mature in a mature age that were or was completely healthy, that permits that permits this organism reproduce and has a fetus inside. So everything that Dr. McDowell say are agree with everything I said before with Dr. Jose de la Cruz Rios and with Konstantin Korotkov and the people from Incari Institute. So for me, this is my personal answer of your question. Dr. McDowell is an authority in the forensic science. Whatever he said at this moment was shared between him and me, and also I'm completely agree that everything he said, because I'm trying to say it first. You know what I mean? So for me, the Dr. McDowell, everything he said confirm what I said before. So It's a big privilege and big honor that someone like Dr. McDowell is involved in this and also is confirming everything we study since 2017.
Thank you. Another question: have you had a chance to look at Inkuri or Inkiru? I think it's Inkuri.
Mm, no, I don't.
El como suye. Es la clase como suye.
Ah, okay. The another specimen. You are
Yes.
talking about this other specimen that
They,
has
they call it the
like a
insectoid.
wings in the back.
Yes. Dr. Peyote said they might be fins. So that's where I'm going. I like this idea of maybe semi-aquatic.
Okay, I saw the body. I saw. By the way, I saw two bodies like this that has some kind of wind in the back, and for
Wait, there's
me,
two?
I saw two bodies like that.
Oh,
But for me, there were not like a wind, like a wind in the back. You know, for me was something like I don't know the name in English, and Spanish is la aleta. Aleta is the part of the fish, you know, the whale,
yeah, the fins.
the fins of the whale. Okay, for me is something like that because it's completely uh, cartílago. I don't know how to say in English right now. I forget the name,
Cartilage.
Cartilage?
Cartilage.
but it's completely cartilage because we don't found any kind of bone inside this. So at this moment, at this moment, I'm I am studying these different bodies, and I don't have all the answers for these kind of bodies, but yeah, it's pretty strange and also it's pretty interesting. Get deeper in the study of these two bodies.
Just curious, real quick. Is the skin like the other ones, or is there like a difference in the skin when you look at Inkuri?
Okay, for me, it's different. I, I don't make histological and pathological analysis yet. So in my point of view, superficial view of the skin of these specimens are different because they are more how do you say rugoso, uh, áspero.
More, more like creases. Uh,
I think
I
you
don't
mean
know how to say in English, but it's not flat. You it's very
rugged.
rugged.
rocket.
Yes.
Yes, it's very
Rugged.
rocket. That's it.
Gonzalo, please.
Yeah, Dr. Zalce, how would you explain the reproduction system of Montserrat, and why do you think this evidence is definitive?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, in the whole big bodies that we saw, Maria, Sebastian, Santiago, and Montserrat, at at this moment, we don't find reproduction, external reproduction organs. We don't found that yet, but we found in Maria and also we found in Montserrat that they had organs inside. Then, when we made the CT scans of Montserrat, we saw a balloon in the belly. Inside this balloon in the belly, we found the fetus of Raphael. But we don't find the similarities of the human females reproduction organs in internal organs of reproduction of the females. We don't found that. This balloon that cover the whole body of the fetus Raphael is pretty similar to the reproduction or 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 I don't know how to say. Let me clean my mind. There is a mammal that we name ornitorrinco. Okay,
The platypus?
this ornitorrinco. I don't know the name in English, but this ornitorrinco,
Platypus.
the made the way they r- has the reproduction system is pretty different because they were the original mammals. Okay, they were the original mammals, so the reproduction is different. They they have uh, the fetus inside the body for a small time, and then they put the fetus outside, and the fetus go inside of the no inside between the hair of this animal. Okay, so the method of the reproduction of these animals, I think also with Jose de la Cruz Rios, I think it's pretty similar the way Montserrat can made his reproduction system. Okay, it's for me it's very difficult to explain this because I need some images to show you, because it is possible. We know the way in the natural in the nature how to this ornitorrinco reproduce himself, and it's difficult to explain in a in a body who is pretty similar to the human, because we don't found yet the reproduction system in any of these bodies.
Wow.
Okay, I hope I could made my best effort to explain that, but I hope you
Yeah.
understand
No.
me.
What the doctor is basically saying is, they haven't found any of the natural reproductive stuff that we would find in something that had a fetus, but they believe that it might be something closer to how a platypus might reproduce, but they still haven't found those telltale signs. This is just them uh guessing, I guess, in a way, that this is how it would happen in a natural way.
That's it correctly. Thank you so much for translate my explication.
It's
Thank
okay.
you.
My specialty is bad English and bad Spanish. um yeah, I'm super curious. Have Like, there's talk about these giant mummy heads. We've seen a video of some new species, or new bodies. Are Is there any plans on getting these new bodies that they've released videos of into the Ika Institute? And From just, I guess, have you seen anything behind the scenes or anything like that about these things?
Well, okay. I saw many of these bodies. If you know, there are plenty of these bodies. The big bodies are Maria, Santiago, Sebastian, Montserrat, and the fetus of Raphael inside Montserrat. There are five bodies in there. But uh, th- uh, recently, Mario showed us three other bodies like them. Then in the small bodies, the 60 centimeters longer bodies, like Josefina, I'm study Josefina, Albert, Victoria, those three bodies that Jaime Maussan called them the family, three bodies, and also the bodies that were in Mexico, Clara and Mauricio. And also one body that is missing, the name is Luisa. And also I have the chance to study around 7 to 10 big hands, 45 centimeters of hands. And also I have the chance to study three schools like Maria, big bodies like Maria, three schools separated, and three schools in Peru, and around 20 or 25 small schools like Josefina. So all this material, all these bodies, all these pieces, I know they are in Ica University. In all these species and all these bodies and all these pieces, we made X-rays, we made CT scans, and we made take samples. Sorry, take samples. But also, I saw different bodies like these two we are talking right now, with wings in the back. I saw two bodies like them, and also I saw another pieces that I don't be able to talk right now because there were a future disclosure, because right now it's running a lawsuit between Jaime Maussan and Ministry of Culture of Peru. For this for this lawsuit is running right now, I'm not able to talk about everything I saw, because we need to disclosure this after the lawsuit has a result. I hope you understand me. But the important thing in this is that the bodies and the pieces that we know are in the Hincari, sorry, that they are in the Hincari Institute, and also there are in the Ica University. These bodies need to be preserved because they are right now in a process of degradation. So we need to preserve this after disappear. I hope this answered your question.
Yes, and just another quick question about the Ministry of Culture. I know they've had a change, whoever was the head of the Ministry of Culture, and I know now they're starting to study them. Do you feel like the Ministry of Culture is maybe changing their tone and are more willing to help as far as keeping these things from degradation and things like that, and maybe opening up to other universities around the world now?
Definitely, yes. The guy is running the head of the Ministry of Culture right now. It's a lawyer, a lawyer who studies archaeology, and also a lawyer who has an specialty in patrimonic preservation. So by this way, I'm thinking that the Ministry of Culture is running a change, to to running a change who is with us. You know what I mean? Is he's I think, I hope he's thinking to take this seriously.
Dr. Zalce, I had a question about what type of peer review papers are in the works. Are there any peer review papers on the 60 centimeter bodies? And are there any papers that are in the works for Santiago, Sebastian, and Montserrat, as I feel those are the more definitive evidence?
Okay, at this moment, I'm sure there are many papers are many papers that they are making right now. So in the future, in the close future, you will see how these papers go out to the light and will show to the people and the public. What's the problem here? Any paper you publish need a peer review from another scientifics, you know? So the problem here is that the editorials and everything the, another scientifics that we need to to work in this to make peer reviews doesn't want to do this. The problem here is that it's very difficult to find where to publish these papers. The paper you saw the last week coming from the own ICA University. The ICA University is who is the entity who has the body, so it's pretty logical to think that they are able to publish in his own review that paper. But no many people, no many institutions want to get involved in this. So there are plenty of papers, but these papers doesn't saw the light because there are no no one who wants to publish. You know.
They're unwilling to
Yes.
publish the peer review process, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
exactly.
Kind of a follow up.
So,
Oh, go
Dr.
Gonzalo. Sorry.
Yeah, so Dr. Zalce, my question is, do you think the Peruvian government will confirm the bodies before the peer review process does, or how do you see the discovery being confirmed once and for all?
I think the Peruvian government are in trouble because they had a lawsuit running right now from $300 million. So that's a big pressure from them. The Peruvian government has the Ministry of Culture that is closer to saying that this is real, and also the Ministry of Culture is not be able to say as everybody they are not able to say that this is an extraterrestrial body. They are only able to say that this is a body, redacted body with plenty difference from the human beings. So what is my idea of this? I think that we are closer to get the permission to study another species, parallel evolution species from the human being. Okay?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Megan.
thank you. I actually just had a follow up for the issue of like publishing papers, like and the problems with the peer review process. And it seems to me that it's more common now for preprints to potentially be released. And I can see kind of some pros and cons to going that route. But do you think that there's any chance that some of this research would be released as preprints?
Okay. It could be possible if mm, at this moment I will return the question. If you know from someone who wants to publish and permits to publish these papers, let me know and I publish in that papers all I know. But at this moment, I don't have the relations to make this. So if you know if someone permits me to do this, please put in contact with me, please.
Oh, I definitely don't. I wish I did. This mostly preprints. Maybe I was unclear about that, or just something where you basically can like there's websites and that kind of thing where you can publish the results, like make them public without necessarily like going through the peer review process. And I've seen that with
Uh,
some of these more controversial subjects, people will just put up their research because they can't get it published.
okay, I have a problem here because I don't I don't have social media. I don't have social media. I'm just open this Twitter only for this interview, but I don't have I don't have social media because in the Navy they they forbidden to me to have social media for this issue. Okay.
Yeah, which is a lot of, even here in the United States, they kind of do the same thing to people. So I'm not surprised by that at all. Um, I want to ask you a question about one of the specimens that isn't talked about a lot, and for me is the only one that scares me. And it's because it looks so strange to me, and that's Earl. And with Earl, something that I noticed is that all of these specimens just have like one or two things that is like completely different from the other. With Earl, they seem to have these holes near their temples. Now, this could be an extra sensory organ or it could be something else. I remember speaking to Mr. De La Cruz Rios, and he said it could have been something to uh, excrete something, maybe something like that. It was a while ago, so I'm probably getting it wrong. But have you seen that specimen? What do you think?
Okay, I saw that the specimen, and it's very difficult to explain the difference that this body has, because this body, we don't at this time, we don't have the whole study and the whole analysis and the whole images from this body. So at this moment, I couldn't make an opinion of this body at this moment.
Gotcha. That's to me. That's the scariest one. He looks scary to me.
Yes, it's very strange, and it's very rare. So I prefer to study and analyze more this body, this specimen, until I can tell something about that. Okay.
Gotcha.
Just real quick, I put up in the nest a description of like what preprints are, and I think it also has some details about like if you wanted to release something as a preprint, how you might be able to do that. So yeah, maybe that's just more something that is in the U.S. I'm not totally sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Gonzalo, go ahead, brother.
Dr. Zalce, my question is, how was it studying Sebastian and Santiago? And do you think these two bodies are close to what people report in typical UFO encounters? Or is that not something you're willing to discuss regarding the humanoids and potential link to UFOs?
Okay. These bodies, Santiago and Sebastian, and also Montserrat, they they are becoming more closer to the human specimen. Okay. When I study Maria, I saw plenty of difference. When I studied Sebastian and also Santiago, they were similar but younger than Maria. And also, I don't remember if it is Santiago or if it is Sebastian, but one of them, it's like a child. Also, we can saw the teeth are mixed. I think the permanent teeth are inside, and the temporary teeth are external. So it's pretty like a child. And when I saw Montserrat, he has more more similarities with the human bodies, but also has that small particularly difference that make her so different, closer to Maria than the human bodies. But at this time, I think that Sebastian and Santiago are very similar to to the to to to, to those specimens that anyone's can see in the common knowledge of this issue. Okay.
Yeah. Real quick side question, and then Megan can jump in. And I'm gonna start letting people come up and ask a question or two. The first one is Hollow Cipher. He's up here. Just wait a moment, brother. Once we finish with our questions, you can ask away. But with Montserrat, uh, was what the organ or the bubble or balloon, like you say, that was holding Raphael, did it seem closer to a placenta or closer to maybe some type of soft egg, like a crocodile or something?
Excellent question. I have the chance to make an endoscopy inside of Montserrat. I am the only one guy in the world that made this endoscopy in any of these or in any of these bodies. Okay, so when I made this endoscopy, I found the colon, the column of Montserrat, and also I found this balloon that protect Raphael. Well, this balloon is pretty similar to the crocodile egg. It's pretty similar like that. It's not like a placenta. Okay.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. Uh, yeah, Megan, please go ahead. Then Gonzalo, and I want to start letting the audience ask some questions.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I kind of want to follow up on this crocodile question. So, the one I was going to ask. So, does it seem like if it's an egg, does that seem like perhaps something that could have been like inserted into the body, or was it like already formed within the body, or is that way too preliminary of a finding to comment on?
Okay. It's like a soft egg. It's like a soft egg, and this structure grows at the same times of the fetus of Raphael. So it's not a structure inside the body like permanent structure inside the body. Is something that grow and develop growing at the same times of the fetus. Okay.
That is very interesting. Thank you. That clarifies. My question that I was going to ask was about the implants in general. So I've kind of heard some things that there's soft tissue growing over the implants, which to me is a very interesting and important piece of evidence. Did you observe that? And what do you make of that? I suppose.
Okay, yes, I've observed that. We have different implants in here. We found argentum implants, silver implants that has 99% pure silver. We also find another implants that has cadmium and osmium. And also we found implants like a aurum gold implants. Okay, what happened with these different kind of implants that they are put over the skin, but but they doesn't has any reaction. If you think a little, the silver, the argentum, is toxic. So we expect to find some kind of reaction, inflammation from the skin. But these implants are biofunctional. So they are fusioned with the skin without made any kind of reaction. They are biofunctional, perfectly ensembled with the skin. But also we found implants inside the skin, around the bones, in not all the bones, but in some broken bones. We found this metal or these implants around the bones inside the skin that needs a chirurgical surgeon procedure to put this inside around the bone. But recently I saw three different implants made from in Spanish we say mica. Mica is something that is transparent, translucid, and completely clean. But in all these implants, we found some kind of um, some kind of how do you say it? Um, please forgive me. We found in some these implants like like drawings, draws. in this implant.
Inscriptions like
The,
writings or drawings.
that's it. Inscriptions, drawings in in some of these implants. For example, if you saw the implant in Santiago, the neck of Santiago, I think it's Santiago who has the implant in the neck. You can see a line drawing all over this implant. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen. Yes,
Yes.
and it almost looks like some type of writing.
Yes, some kind of writing, and also there is in these big hands, 45 centimeters big hands, a circle implant in the hand that has some kind of signals or structures that in this circle. Do you have seen that?
Yes, I have seen the. I can find the pictures and post them too.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that these implants are made from different metals, that all the implants has in common copper, cobre. All these implants has in common copper, and it's very interesting that doesn't has inflammation process with the skin. And well, it's very interesting for me to study this kind of implants in these bodies. But more interesting for me is to study the implants that are beside the bones inside the skins, just together to the bone. That it's more interesting for me because we didn't saw any kind of scare or cicatriz. I don't know the name in English. In Spanish,
Scar.
it's cicatriz.
Scar,
Scar.
Scar.
yeah,
You
scar.
said
I,
it
n-
correct.
I didn't saw any kind of scar, chirurgical or surgical scar, to put these implants in the bone, just in just between the bone. Okay.
Uh, real quick, just while we're on the hands. Um, I understand that there seems to be like an extra bone or something that they found that might allow a greater field of motion for these fingers. Maybe turning to left or right like a posable thumb almost. Is this correct?
Well, eh, the structure of the joints in the hands, it's very special because they doesn't have carpus. Okay, they only has the bone from the arm, and then turn into the bones of the fingers, these phalanges. There are there are no carpus as we know in the humans. There are another type of bones inside this that permits a bigger capacity of movement of the hand. If you take a look in the crocodile, you can saw how his hands and his feet are tridactyl, and how they can move these hands and these feet, but they are small, they are short. In these specimens, the hands and the feet are bigger, are longer, and also has more phalanges. This capacity, these more phalanges makes more bigger the capacity of movement from the hands and the feet. Okay.
Yeah. That's super interesting. I am very much fascinated with the type of motion that these things will have. Hollow Scythe, you have your hand up. Thank you for waiting patiently. If anybody in the crowd has questions, please come up here and you'll be allowed a few questions. Be respectful of the doctor's time, and yeah, let's go. Hollow Scythe, please.
Oh, thanks, Doug, for making this happen. Very interesting. I'm very curious. Is it Dr. Salsa?
Yeah.
Um, you said you did an endoscopy, and I'm curious because I know Gaia had done one, and I believe Dr. Korotkov from Russia had done or he was attempting to do, correct me here, a whole gene sequence. And I'm curious if you have collected, as I understand, the diatomaceous earth protected the tissue and it was fairly well intact. Do we have the ability to run a whole gene sequence? That's my first question. I'll just stop there.
Oh, okay. First one, Gaia team and Dr. Konstantin Korotkov and I also in 2017 and I think also 2018 went to Peru and we take samples together. So we made X-rays, we made TC scans, and we take samples. Dr. Konstantin take the samples to Russia, to the Technological Institute of St. Petersburg, and made analysis there. Gaia take their samples and made analysis with some people that work with them, and the samples I take, we bring it back to Mexico with Jaime Maussan, and we send them these samples to the National University and also to the Polytechnical Institute here in Mexico, the two highest university in Mexico, to make some analysis. But when I have the opportunity to go back to Peru the last year, 2023, with Dr. McDowell to meet the body of Santiago, Sebastian, and Montserrat, we made together X-rays and also we made TC scans. But in the body of Montserrat, that's the only body that I made an endoscopy by myself alone. There were present many people, but the endoscopy was made only by me, and I show in the and I show in a screen how I get inside the body of Montserrat and how I found the colon and how I found the belly where Raphael, the fetus, were inside of Montserrat, and take video and a photo from this. So whatever you you can see from this analysis since 2017, 2018, and the latest 2023, we made everything together. So fortunately, the results of the whole analysis and the results from the samples we take and the analysis we made from these samples, fortunately, they were pretty similar, confirming everything we are saying from different laboratories and from different scientific teams around the world. And one relevant thing in this is the DNA samples, because the DNA samples we take from different parts of the body. We take DNA from inside the bone, from Maria in the finger of one of the feet. We take one finger and we take samples for DNA from the bone of the finger. Also, we take samples inside of Maria in the hips. We use a hole that Maria has, and we go inside this hole from Maria and we take samples inside of that, and we also take samples from the skin. These samples we took to the laboratory, to the DNA laboratory, and there is where coming the results. There is Can you hear me?
There you go. Ahora se escucha, sí.
Okay, okay. So, so the results of DNA that we have are from Maria and are from Victoria, and they are from part of bones, part of inside of this body, and also part of the skin. So we have three different samples to make DNA analysis. Do I answer your question?
So, what did the whole gene sequence reveal? Did you get a mitochondrial read from the DNA as well?
No, the mitochondrial DNA we are analyzing right now, and we don't have the complete result by right now. Okay, we are analyzing the mitochondrial DNA right now because we need to uh, run to run and get bigger the sequences to to get into the mitochondrial DNA. You know, the process is different. The process is different to analyze mitochondrial DNA to analyze a simple DNA. Okay.
Okay, so we have a question from the audience that has to do with DNA too. So it's a hypothetical. It says hypothetically, could there be genetic markers being held in any type of secret government programs or private industries, such as a biotech company that you don't have access to, which you feel might be able to help you more genetic identifying? If yes, what would you need? What would you need to be done for you to obtain access to these genetic markers?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's a very good question because at this time, the result of the DNA that we have is very complex. For the first, we found that in compare with 1 million species, the DNA doesn't match. Okay, the first one.
1 million species and no match.
Yes, we study
Oh
and
man,
we and
Mario
we
is very
compare.
good at putting these things together.
We study and we compare the DNA with 1 million species, and it doesn't match with anyone. But doing an amplification of the DNA that we found, we we found that there are similarities with two different kind of apes, el bonobo apes, and another one that I forget the name. Similarities, and also we
Chimpanzee.
no, it's not chimpanzee. It's another one from Africa, but I don't remember the name. And also we found a similarity sequence with the primary human in Philippines. Okay. By the
Yes,
way,
I seen Myanmar and Han.
that's it. By the way, what's the relation between Philippines, Myanmar, primary human, and apes from Africa with one specimen in Peru, South America? What's the relation? I don't know. But making a bigger amplification of this DNA, we found that there are sequences that repeats constantly. That sequences that repeats constantly, we can show that when we has genetic engineering, like a firm, making a firm. Okay, if you go to the transgenic corn, okay, this transgenic corn has sequences that repeats constantly, so it makes a firm. Well, we found something like that in the amplification of DNA. This is something that the team of Canada with with collaboration with Ricardo Rangel, Dr. Ricardo Rangel, has comment just few months ago. Do you remember?
Yes, I do remember the research of Dr. Ricardo Rangel and Elena. My question is then, Doctor, is uh, is there a chance that Maria is something natural to the U.S.? I mean, something natural to Earth, rather than like a natural species, something that's from here rather than from somewhere else?
Okay, I don't hear very well your question. Could you repeat me please?
Yeah. Do you think Maria and the specimens could be evidence of cryptoterrestrials?
Well, well, that's a big question because I don't I'm not be able to talk about extraterrestrial in any kind because I don't know any extraterrestrial specimen, you know? So I'm not able to answer that, but in my personal way to think, I think this difference or these particularities in the DNA, they are not related with the evolution that we know in the earth. Okay?
Do you think they could be? A few months ago, there was a paper on cryptoterrestrials, which talked about maybe there could be a species from Earth that lives here as well.
Yes.
Do you think the Nazca mummies could be evidence of
Yes,
that, other
I,
than
I know the paper that talks about the people inside the earth, crypto humans, crypto terrestrials. I know the paper, but again, I don't have the evidence to compare this. So the only thing I could be able to say is that this DNA doesn't match with the natural evolution as we know it right now. Okay?
Dr. Salles, can I just piggyback on that for a moment and query about the nature of habitat of these beings? Do we know that they live like underground? Do they have the potential to live in an altered atmospheric content? If so, we might find isotopic variations within their bone density, for example, elevated O18 isotopes. Is there any indication that they were breathing like or had adaptation skills to breathe alternate atmosphere, such as
That
changes in the pharyngeal or larynx or anything like that that would be associated with alternate atmosphere breathing?
that's a very good question because we found that they had a small nose, but they doesn't has the same respiratory system. So I could divide this in two different ways. The small specimens, these specimens from 60 centimeters long, like Maria or sorry, like Josefina or Albert or Victoria. These specimens could be able to be in water environment because they are pretty similar. The way they breathe, they are pretty similar that some species do, like the name in English I don't know what is, but in Spanish is salamandra, la salamandra.
Salamander.
Okay, has different different possibilities of breathing that could be able to breathe inside the water and also could breathe outside the water. Okay, so these small specimens like Josefina, Albert, it's pretty much possible that could be able to live in water environmental. Okay, But the bigger species like Maria, Sebastian, Santiago, Montserrat has has a respiratory system pretty much similar as human. Okay, so they were capable to breathe only in superficial environments. Now, both specimens, both specimens, Maria, Santiago, Sebastian, or Josefina, Albert, Victoria, both specimens, they has an anatomy, particularity anatomy, could be able to live inside the earth. Okay, because the bones are so resistant, but they are so light. They are not heavy. They are resistant but not heavy. So they could be live in internal earth environments. Okay?
I got so many questions. You were talking about the breathing, and I literally wanted to ask about the smaller ones like Alberto, their rib cage, uh, and you spoke about the how Maria's breathing apparatus, organs are pretty much similar to humans. Can you guys detect the sizes comparatively to a human, and between Maria and the smaller ones like Alberto? Um, the rib cage is way different. How do you think Alberto's works compared to Maria's? Do you think it has to do with that salamander type of breathing apparatus for Alberto?
Okay. At this moment, we are talking about speculation, okay? Because
Yes.
because we don't have the evidence to prove that, but we have the evidence to show what the difference or what are the organs that we found in the analysis. In this speculation, and I want to be very clear with this. In this speculation, the thing that you are the thing that you are saying, it's it's it could be possible, okay, but I don't know how. I don't know have the evidence to prove that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
M- Manuel, do you want to speak next?
Yes, I have a question. Hello.
Hello.
Uh, I have read a text from Flavio Estrada, archaeologist of the Peru's Institute. He told they are all made from animal bones from this planet, joined together with modern synthetic glue. What are your
Okay.
thoughts about it?
Okay. Let me tell you something. Flavio Estrada and many people around him doesn't has access to the real bodies. I mean, they doesn't study the real bodies that we are talking about. They use another bodies. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know who give these bodies to them. Also, I don't know if he made these bodies. Okay, so they cannot speak as a true reality with another bodies that doesn't has anything to do with the real and official, if you permit to say that, and the official bodies that we have in the ICA University. So if he said that they were made with bones from animals and we were made with glue and something like that, well, let me tell you something. The bodies that he has maybe maybe can made was made like he said, because they are not the bodies that we analyzed.
Yeah. I
Okay,
have another.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the question. We have another question from the audience, but they sent it in inbox. Um, it has to do with La Momia Juanita. Uh, Basically, their question is there from what I'm looking at, it says is the moment Maria was sacrificed. Could there be any link between what maybe she was sacrificed to these things or something in that manner?
Okay. At this moment, at this moment, we don't think they were sacrificed. Okay, because we don't have any evidence that make us think they were sacrificed. At this moment, we are studying and analyzing the probably cause of death. Cause of death. Okay, we are analyzing that right now, but at this moment, we don't think and we don't have evidence that they were sacrificed. Then Wawita, the mummy of or the body of Wawita is completely different from the body of Maria. Why? Because Maria has difference from the human beings and also has evidence that this body is tridaclyd by nature, not by alteration. It's tridactyl by nature. Wawita, we have evidence that this body was modified and has artificial modifications. Okay, I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. Stephanie.
Do you want to go, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Hola, Doctor Zalce. Hello.
Hola, gusto en escucharte.
Likewise, likewise. The question that I had for you was you mentioned, because this is new to me, you mentioned the implant that had mica.
Okay.
This mineral, I guess it's like a mineral. I was looking that up because I have not heard of that before. Do When was that found, and which body has that, and do we know why that specific mineral was found in it? Because that was a new thing to me, so I found it to be really interesting.
Okay, you have the whole reason in this. This is new. This is something that is pretty recently founded. 2 weeks ago, we saw and we have the knowledge that Mario found another bodies. These another bodies has these mica implants. So this is completely new. This is something like in Spanish, and you can say as a primicia. In Spanish, you can say primicia. I don't know how to say in English.
Premise.
Maybe. Yeah. So this is something that we are analyzing right now. Okay.
Mhm.
I hope in into more or less 1 month in the future from now 1 month in the future. I hope I can talk about more about this.
Okay, that's really exciting and different. So I was curious about that. Thank you.
Yeah, this is something new.
I have another question. I know you've been concentrating on the bodies. While looking at the bodies, did you happen to get a look at any of the artifacts that came with some of these bodies?
Well, that's a good question. Yes, we also saw different artifacts coming with these bodies. These artifacts are also in the Hika University, and also, unfortunately, most of these articles were sold by Mario. So we are trying to recover these artifacts, and well, I hope someday we can found all. and putting together in into a museum.
Yeah, and just a quick
Did any of the artifacts include technology?
At this moment, I don't know. At this moment, I don't know. I don't have answer for that.
Yeah, and just a quick follow up. Is there a person in the University of Ica that is currently like studying them? Maybe someone I could reach out to and talk to about these artifacts because I've seen some of the pictures. I have the map Mario drew out where he speaks of the stuff he found, and I'm just curious to know more about the stone fragments and stuff like that were found.
Yes, as I know, Doctor Zuniga is the leader of the investigation, and he's also the person who has the custody of these bodies and also the custody of the artifacts. As I know, Doctor Zuniga is the guy who has everything.
Thank you very much, Megan.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was actually just going to ask, one of their more interesting features that I've noticed early on was the spinal column. Seems very interesting in the way that the spinal cord attaches. It almost looks to me like maybe the upper section, the upper vertebrae might be able to descend down like ET almost. I was just wondering kind of what your take was on the way that their spines might function.
Oh, okay. You are talking about the neck.
The small bodies, yeah, the small bodies, and like how the spinal column is, it seems to be, or the spinal
Okay.
cord seems to be external. Just any kind of like from your professional opinion, like what is up with that spine?
Okay. That spine is very interesting because it has four different parts. The first one, they are very superficial, so you can saw the spine like like a cord outside the body. You if you know what I mean. So it's very interesting, but there are two parts for me that are the biggest interest. The first one is the lower part of the column, who has the joint with the legs, because it's a very strange joint between the cord, the column, and the leg, making the process of movement very difficult to understand, but also making the movement with more capability or an possibility of movement to this specimen. But the second part that are very interesting is the neck, because in the neck you can find four or five vertebrae that were very small, but between each vertebra you can find a cartilago or something like a disc in between that could be retractile. So the neck, the column of the neck is exactly the same as we can see in the turtles. The turtles can move the head outside and then could move the head inside and be retract. They have a retractile neck, so it's very similar. This this space of the neck in these specimens as a turtle neck. Okay.
I think we need to have a talk with Steven Spielberg.
Well,
Manuel.
I didn't realize this is what I talking to you. I didn't realize until until I present this analysis to Jaime Maussan, and Jaime Maussan saying, "Oh, you are making a copy of ET from Steven Spielberg," and I say, "No, I didn't think about that, but now you are saying, yeah, it's pretty much like this."
We're gonna have to
Probably
send. We're gonna have to
probably
send the
Steven
government.
Spielberg knows something.
Yeah, Manuel, please ask your question.
Well,
Yes.
let me tell you something. When I say this to Jaime Mausana, and he told me that I'm just joking with the Steven Spielberg picture ET. he told me that this picture uh, was a real tale from South America, that some lady sent this tale to Steven Spielberg, so he made ET from a tale from South America.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Yeah, you
Oh,
well,
you can
wow.
find that.
well, well. I have a question. I would like to come back to the topic of the artifacts. Do you have any idea how those artifacts looks like?
Okay, those artifacts looks well. The artifacts I saw, there are only three. One is a vessel. The name in Spanish is vasija. I don't know how to say in English, but it's like a vessel. Uh,
Vessel, something.
it- Cover it. I don't know what is inside of that, but cover it. The second artifact is like a hand tool. Like if you are looking like how can I say it, I don't know. Sorry, like a hand tool, like a hand tool.
Dilo en español.
Em, como como una un hacha de mano, un hacha de mano.
Like a
A
hand axe?
hatchet? A hatchet.
Hatchet.
And the third artifact I saw was a plate, un plato. But this plate, this plato, was from metal. But this metal you can manipulate this metal so easy. It's not a rigid or 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 hard metal. It's like a metal very very soft.
Did it seem like how they talk about the Roswell crash material that it could be folded?
Well, I suppose that, but I don't know the Roswell the Roswell artifacts. I don't know about that, but it could be similar.
And you guys haven't done any metallurgic analysis of any of the metals?
No, at this moment, as I know, we don't make analysis of this because these things, these artifacts, Mario has it, and Mario doesn't give us only show us these artifacts, but he keep it with these artifacts.
And I was just curious.
I have a
Go ahead. Go
question.
ahead.
Do you think Mario has ever found technology? Something like
Well,
I won't even a flying saucer. Let's say. Do you think if he was to ever find something like that, do you think he would sell it?
well,
Hell yeah.
I think Mario found many things that doesn't tell us, and he found many things that he sold before we made contact with him. And I think Mario has in his possession many things that we doesn't know yet.
As a retired criminal, I can tell you from the rip, yes, he will try to sell it. And I'm sure he won't be able to sell it. Who the hell is gonna buy a spaceship? But yeah, it'll come to light, but he will try to sell it.
He said that he found many things, not only bodies. He found many things, but I don't know what he found, and I'm not sure if it is real everything he said.
Do you think there is some type of deal that maybe they can give him for him to just come clean? Like I know he wanted to be the curator of the mummies. Like to me that's a simple ask. You make the greatest discovery in the world. Yeah, take care of the mummies, bro. Have fun with it. But do you think there is a deal, maybe amnesty or like clear his record or something like that?
Well, I hope that, because if the government of Peru may made and give to Mario amnesty, maybe he can feel free to show us everything he found. But I at this moment I don't have any idea of that.
Well, if you do speak to him, tell him King Wakata from USA supports him. Holocyte, please.
Okay, I'll do my best if I have the chance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just curious, Dr. Salas, what do you know of if you're looking at the genetic portfolio of these different specimens, you referred to one, and I don't know if you meant this as an analogy in terms of comparing it with a salamander, if that was actually part of its overlapping gene sequence with the salamander, but what can you say of the different specimens and their phylogenetic branch as to where they may originate, at least as close as possible within our own genome bank? Can you comment
Well,
at all on that?
as I was saying a few moments, we compare the DNA with 1 million of species and doesn't match with anyone. But that
Well,
was at the
not 100%, but I mean, is there any
that's
over
it.
like lapse?
That was at the beginning when we
Okay, okay.
when we made an amplification of this DNA. We were finding small similarities with some species like the bonomo chimpanzee, the bonomo ape, the bonomo ape, or all the prima, primarily human of Philippines. So when when we when we can be more able to amplify the DNA, or better than that, when we can be able to take another samples and make new analysis of DNA, I'm sure that we'll be able to find similarities with different species like salamandra. Okay, but at this moment I don't have the complete answer for that.
And my follow up, real quick, was obviously you guys must know that the embryonic tissue, if it's salvageable, as per the reproductive organelle, would be some of the most valuable tissue to potentially regenerate. Have
That's
you
it.
guys attempted that at all?
You have the reason, but at this moment we are not attempting to do that because we need three things here. We need the permission to take out these bodies outside Peru to different university and bigger institution that has the technology to make more deeper analysis. This is the first thing we need. The second thing we need is, please, scientific community, please join to the research of these bodies because we are alone. And the third thing we need, in this world, everything moves by the money. So we need money to pay for this research and money to pay for these institutions or this scientific community to join us in this investigation. We don't have the funds, we don't have the money, we don't have the technology, we don't have the way to to make this bigger. We need help. I need help.
And I hope that everybody pushes this space out to everybody else in the scientific community so they can hear this message from Dr. Zalce and people can get educated on the mummies. I want to be respectful of your time. I don't know how much time you have left, Mr. Zalce. We have a couple hands, if that's okay with you. Um,
Okay, I have a few minutes more, but I have to leave soon.
okay, so let's go with Manuel and then, well, let's go with Stephanie. Ladies first.
Okay.
Sorry, Manuel. Hold on.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Salce, I'm not sure if you will have an answer for this because I was looking online. If we don't find that the DNA matches anything like you said, and with future tests coming in, and they don't find anything that matches anything still, if they are closer, especially the 60 centimeter ones, they seem to be anatomically closer to dinosaurs, but we don't have any DNA from dinosaurs because obviously it's been millions of years. Where would we go after that if we don't have any kind of DNA, something concrete saying that it's related to something else with DNA? Would we move to anthropological characteristics and doing the comparison that way?
Okay, everything you say is very, very high level, and it's a very good question. The small bodies, 60 centimeters body, it's pretty much related with dinosaurs or the evolution of dinosaurs. But my way of thinking is that we are in front of two, at the minimum, in front of two new species that we we need to find where to put in the evolution in the earth. Okay, but that what I am saying to you, it's only my first part of the answer, because the second part is what happens if we don't have any place where we can put these new two species. Well, we need to develop a new evolutionary system, or new
Tree.
evolutionary direction in this earth. Because if we don't find, and we cannot be able to do one of these two options, then we are talking about something that comes outside this world and outside the evolution of this world. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Manuel, please.
Quick question, Jose. Uh,
See?
do you have previous this investigation? Do you have an approximation to the UFO topics? This is your first time exploring these subjects. Are
Okay.
you what you related with UFO investigations or something like that? And thank you for sharing your time with us and your thoughts.
Thank you for having the time to listen me, but I will answer your question. Before this event, I don't have any relation with the UFO community and anything like this. I met Jaime Maussan in 2014, and I work with him to make one picture analysis, okay, that he present in 2015, and that's all. That's all. The analysis of one picture. That's all. Then the 2016, I don't have any contact with Jaime Maussan until in 2017 he invited me to investigate these bodies. What happened here? I'm completely strange, and I'm completely outside of the UFO community. But when I'm starting to analyze these Peruvian bodies, these tridactyl mummies, I feel like so many hate from the whole world. So I decide to 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 go a part of the UFO. That's why I don't have any relation with the people who works in this. By the way, Jaime Maussan doesn't or didn't pay me any coin of this. I do everything by myself with my own resource and my own economy. I don't receive any payment for this work. I do it by myself, by free, because everything I found and everything I discover in this analysis, it's true. So I have the ethics to prove that everything that I saying, it's completely honestly. Okay.
Yeah, that needs to be said. So, because there are people out here that are doubters, and they use the idea that somehow Latin American scientists and doctors are, more likely to be sold out for money and things like that. And I hate that. But for the last question, if this is going to be the last question, I'm going to put two questions together because they both have to do with biology. Are there any unique advanced sensory organs or capabilities that these species possess beyond what is known in Earth organics? And with the current anatomy as is, does Montserrat have the ability to give birth? Is there a current tube or canal or path out of the body for the egg? Uh, as you said, there is no genitalia, so the person is curious. There's two questions, but I think they kind of go together.
Okay. Well, I found also in both species, big one and also the small one, that the canal that they have to 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 depositar, no sé cómo se diga en inglés, depositar.
Drop a deuce.
No.
Okay.
No. That's funny. Sorry. Go ahead.
The organ they have to do number two, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. The no, not the organ
No.
to make
That
the number two. No, 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 no. The organ that uh,
that
lo,
deposits
I'm
it's
going to say I'm going to say this in Spanish. Okay.
Okay.
El órgano que tienen por donde nacen sus descendientes es muy similar al que tienen las aves, que se llama cloaca.
Okay, what he's saying is the pathway of maybe giving birth or passing these eggs is very close to the type of bird called cloaca.
That's it. And I I didn't find the organ sexuality or reproduction organs, but I found this way, this pathway that they deposits the eggs outside the body. Okay.
Got it. Jack, you just came out here. Give us our last question, and I'll start ending the space. We want to be respectful with Dr. Zalce's time.
Gracias, doctor.
Gracias a ti.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Zalce. Thank you so much for your research efforts into these non-human mummies. Doing that selfless work is really awesome, and it's really awesome to hear a fellow scientist kind of, looking at these openly and really trying to figure out what's going on with them. My question for you, Dr. Zolce, is: have you ever listened to the Zulu or Dogani African knowledge of these amphibious reptilian creatures, either terrestrial or from the stars, called the Nomo? And if you have listened to any of those descriptions or knowledge of them, do you see them correlating to the details of the Nazca mummies?
Un,
Thank you.
unfo- unfortunately, I don't have any knowledge about that. So I don't know anything about that.
Well, I would certainly recommend if you. I can even send you some stuff on this guy Credo Mutwa, who is a high African Sanusi, basically a shaman, keeper of ancient wisdom for his people, and he speaks of these things in almost vivid detail because he says he had an abduction experience with these things, and he describes them very, very verbatim, similar to the Nazca mummies. And something I'd even add is when you consider the gray alien, think of the gray maybe not as the first outer layer of its skin, but almost like an advanced biosuit of like keeping away from viruses and bacteria. It's like if this thing was around before us, it developed the ability to kind of protect itself and develop science, and it's probably the thing with the UFOs, I would say.
Okay, it sounds logical to me, and I will love if you can share that information because I don't have any idea from all that thing.
Yeah, most
Send it to
certainly.
me and
I could
I'll
send
send
that.
it to him. Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
Well, thank you, bro.
thank you.
thank you.
All right, Dr. Salce, thank you very much for being here. We even went over by a few minutes. Thank you for allowing us to ask all these questions. Uh, I hope that we are able to do this again someday. I hope this was a good experience for you with the UFO community. There are some of us that are truly just trying to figure out the truth. And yeah, uh, before we leave, I just want to say the art for this show was made by UFO Intros. If there's anybody that's an experiencer that wants to talk about it, UFO Intros does interviews about it, so please talk to him. But again, Mr. Zalce, thank you very much. Muchas gracias y espero que podamos hacer esto en el futuro y que pudiste ver un lado más bueno de la comunidad de UFO y no el lado tan odioso que todos ven.
I'm so grateful that you invite me in your program. Thank you so much. It's an honor to me, and you have all the reason. This part of the UFO community, I love that. But I'm used to be with the other part, the hate part of the UFO community. So that's why I'm so so isolated from this. But whenever you invite me, whenever you want to ask something, let me know, and I'd be so glad to work with you together. Thank you so much. It's an honor to me, and thank you everywhere and everybody to listen me. Sorry for my so bad English, and it's very difficult to me, but I'm do my best.
Hiciste bien, doctor. Gracias
Don't
por tu
worry,
tiempo. Cuídate.
Thank you
you
so
did
much
it
for your
great.
time, doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Your English was great.
It was, yeah,
Thank you
it's
so much.
perfect. Yeah. Thank
Perfect.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To
Thank you all.
play us out, today, we have Alien Mummies by Tupacabra, AI music. Check it out. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Look at me now. I'm not fake, my bones are real. Well, look at me now. Don't give a damn how wrong it feels. Well, you didn't love me when it took faith. You never took me out of my case. You thought I was made of llama bones. Now you can't leave me alone. You saw it through me in the X-rays. Metal implant on my chest. You thought the road was always my right.
Onda, ¿qué onda?
Waited 1,000 years
No,
for
no sé
this.
cómo apagar Twitter.
Look at me now. I'm not fake, my bones
No,
are real.
acabo de abrirla y la voy a
Look
cancelar
at me
y no sé
now.
cómo apagarla.
Don't give a shit how wrong it feels.
Italia. Sí.
You didn't love me when it took faith. You never took me out of my case. You thought I was made of llama bones. Now you can't leave me alone. You saw right through me in the X-rays. Metal implant on my chest. You thought the road was my right. Waited 1,000 years for this.
Shout out everybody that was here today. Hit that cash app, son. King Wakata. We out of here.